there, welcome back. Today I'm talking about video nasties. Yes, video nasty boom. These are two wrong way around there. Video nasties and video nasties 2. These are two hard to find now DVDs from 2010. The documentary is made by Jake West covering the video nasties. The first one is more about the legal side of why it happened and the social pressures that created video nasties. The second one is more about how it affected people, like the shops, like and the people who became collectors of banned videos and the implications. I mean, both sets cover a lot of videos, a lot of situations, like the social censors, the people who believed that videos had an effect on the nation, the whole idea of the video boom, why it came in, how certain exploitation distributors spruced up the boxes so much that it made the films look much worse than they were. Then there's the trash exploitation films that were actually released, and what was the development, what was the legal developments, how did the BBFC, which is the ratings board, deal with it, and basically how did it develop through the 80s and 90s, and how did it eventually just dissipate and become, and all these films end up getting their ratings eventually. And basically all the legal things of people going to jail over videos, and the whole idea of what constitutes video nasties, why is a video nasty, and all that stuff. I mean, basically the whole, it's basically it's a documentary in two parts, because the first part covers things and the second part's longer and it covers it in more detail. You also get discs 2 and 3 in both of these, and both of these, basically discs 2 and 3 cover the films that were on the video nasties list and eventually when they come off it, as well as the films that were on a separate section 3 list, which was, they weren't video nasties but they were videos that people were worried about, and the police basically pulled out the video shops because the titles looked kind of like a video nasty. I mean, the thing about these films is, and basically the discs that cover it, you go into each title, like, so you get people like Kim Newman, Alan Jones, Stephen Thrower talking about these video nasties and what the films were. So there's some really good films, there's some films that should never have been on the list because they were pretty bland, which is just the title and our poster that made them go on the list. I know there was a whole variety of video nasties, there was just tons of them, and the list could have been cut in half quite easily with any kind of basic common sense. And it's never happened in the first place with basic common sense, but there was lots of scared politicians who had a social axe to grind at the time. And this is something that comes up again and again. It comes up in different ways. I mean, then it was video nasties. It's like, what do these like poor people have in their homes? Oh, they have access to these films that we do not. Oh, we can watch them and just say they're ridiculous. But what happens if the poor get them? What happens if people who are uneducated get them? How would they react to them? They reacted fine. I mean, a lot of these. I mean, when I went through the list of the films on the video nasties list, I'm amazed by how many of these I own now. I mean, there's some films on this list I own 2 copies of, and I've bought various copies over the years of. I mean, there's stuff like Tenebrae, Inferno, which is one of my favourite films of all time, Suspiria, Suspiria's on it, Deep Red, which I've got 2 Blu-rays of, Tenebrae I've 2 Blu-rays of as well. And there's some ones I've got recently that are more scummy that are on it as well. I mean, it's pure exploitation film, and people, they're just fun, silly movies. People didn't really take them seriously. Eventually we had some rumours like snuff movies. Or have you seen a snuff movie? What's a snuff movie? Do they exist? No, they were just Latin American short movies made by scumbags with bad special effects that people were too dumb to realise were bad special effects. Like, oh my god, there's snuff movies. No, they're not. People are really stupid natives when it comes to special effects. And there was all sorts of stuff like that. And I remember when I was a kid, over with a friend, and I ended up seeing a bit of zombie flesh eaters when I was like 6. It just looked so ridiculous. Because you're a kid, it's like, it's not very serious. And of course they were like, oh, ratings are really important, we must protect, people must have ratings, and we have to ban stuff in the home in case these scum get a hold of these films and enjoy them and have a point of view beyond ours. And I mean, the only weird, actual weird people involved were the politicians and all the moral busybodies. They were the dumb ones, they were the idiots. Which, spot the difference between then and now. Really. Yeah, I mean, there was like snuff movies. There was no such thing as snuff movie. There was a film called Snuff. If you go from it's a film called Snuff to, oh my god, to ban this snuff movie, then you should not be in power. You should not be in any political power. You should not have a job anywhere near that. You're stupid. But they had all that stuff. I mean, they put in the hands of the police. You do not put stuff like this in the hands of the police. You do not put points of view, points of democratic viewpoint, you know, if a democratic right to air your views, that should not be on the side of it should not be handled by the police, nor should art be handled by the police. You do not give something like that to the police who do not understand how to deal with it and whose funding's tied to lots of prosecutions. I mean, it was in their interest to have more prosecutions to attack video shop owners and put them out of business and take all the stock and then watch all these video nasties and stuff to see, yeah, we saw them, they're video nasties. You don't do that. You have a censor and then you work out what the best rules are for it. That's it. But no, they went completely panic-ridden, they just went nuts. And they put it in the hands of the police. I mean, if you look at it now, police are now arresting people for like social comments, like comments on social media, like on Twitter, and it's like, this is ridiculous. I mean, people do not learn. Police are good for like dealing with criminals and dealing with like social problems where someone's out of order, you've disobeyed an actual law, and now we have to arrest you and put you into the court system. That's what the police's job is. That's what they're trained for. They're not trained for like social media. They're not trained for like an idea of what's good taste and what's bad taste. That's not what they're there for. That's not what they're trained for. They don't want to be dealing with that. And you put this in their hands and it's like, it's going to be a disaster. Because it's dealing with taste. And you're allowed to have bad taste. I mean, the people with the worst taste would seem to be the people who didn't trust anyone else's taste. Like, I grew up in the early 80s and all the video nasties. My parents were very protective and not showing me stuff. But you go into other people's houses and you see stuff all the time. And it never watched me at all. It was just silly. It's like, people can do what they want. And there's always going to be rumours about, oh, have you seen this, have you seen that, I've heard of this film, I've heard of that film. It was just pure excitement. It was like, have you heard of this one? Does anyone know it? Does it exist? I mean, I remember that in the schoolyard a lot. Does it exist? There was one guy who claimed he'd seen a video of a guy having sex with a chicken. That went on for weeks, discussing this thing. But people make up their minds with stuff on their own, and they should have the right to do that. It's not a police matter. People should have a collection of films that you might find disgusting, as long as it's not having nothing involved in it is illegal, then it's a question of taste. That's it. And films get rated like this are 18 and this are 15. And if you show a child who's under that age this film, that's your choice, you're taking responsibility for it. That's all it is. So, I mean, everybody saw films that were too old for them. I saw 18 films when I was 15 because my parents knew I could handle it. Like, it wasn't a big deal. I mean, it's just the way it goes. So that became the problem of, Britain. Censorship, people who were making decisions that weren't really qualified. People who actually want to tell you what you should watch, why you should watch it, why it's tied to what they like. I don't care what you like, as long as it's legally okay for me to watch it as a grown up, I should be able to watch it. Even if it's in bad taste. Because a lot of fun can be had from watching stuff that's in bad taste. You know, comedians telling dark humour jokes. It's just a lack of trust of people who are in the top controlling layer of government and of society, like the media, who are scared that people disagree with them, who have different values from them. Basically scared of what they call a classless mass type of thing. It's just this thing of all these millions of people who have a different point of view from you, who want to do their own thing, want to be left alone to do their thing. And we have to control what they see, and we'll go through laws and we'll hunt them down to stop them from watching this. What we see is trash, which is just films. It's bad taste. But they don't see that. And you're allowed to like bad taste. It's not going to warp anybody. No one's getting warped by it. I mean, again, it's because it was in the home and people could watch whenever they wanted and show it to whoever they wanted. That was a loosening of control, and now it's even worse because with the internet, now they're trying to clamp down the internet, like who can be on the internet, what can you hear on the internet, what's going on the internet. It's like, oh god, these people can say things that we do not want to hear, we do not want people to say. People shouldn't hear all this stuff about this group or that group, or, you know what I mean, it's like, let people hear what they want to hear and make their own mind up. If they do actions that are illegal because of that, then it's on them, it's not on the thing. It's like, there is a difference. As long as you're not creating art which is inciting violence, then it just has to be rated, and then it's up to the people. But they didn't like that. That was the ruling class did not like that. So with 20 years of like legislation, the BBFC having way too much power, things getting cut, films getting cut and changed their context and made it much more. It just destroyed people what the point of the films were sometimes. And lots of films that should never have been banned were banned, and lots of films that were high art were banned. You couldn't see The Exorcist in Britain for a long time. You couldn't see Texas Chainsaw Massacre in Britain for a long time. Now you can. Lots of films were banned that should never have been banned. Lots of films that were... I mean, The Thing was on the Section 3 list. John Carpenter's The Thing, a major American film. A classic on that list. There was tons of stuff. Funhouse was on the list as well. I mean, which is a very mainstream American film. Eaten Alive was on that list. About Killer Crocodile. I have no idea. You'd have to be really stupid to put that on the list because it's just a mainstream horror film. Why was it on the list? There's a whole bunch of films like that. It was like, these films should not be on this list, but they were. It was crazy. This film just shows insanity and basically the fact that all these video shop owners, there were independent shop owners and a lot of independent distributors, were getting targeted due to people with attitude of taste. Like, so a lot of small businesses were ruined. They were going to be ruined anyway by like conglomerates, but they were ruined well ahead of what they should have been just because of people wanting their taste followed. It was just total hypocrisy, typical British hypocrisy, where the higher classes don't trust the lower classes, or what they see as the lower classes, and God knows if they get educated beyond their place. And that's all it ever was. That's Britain for you. Like, don't come, it's all class thing. It's like, we know what's good for you, we'll tell you what's good for you, and if you do something that's not, we don't think is good for you, we'll come after you. That's Britain. It's always been Britain. And that's just another example of it. Now we've got this stuff on social media, you can't say this or say that or offend someone, and it's like, it's the same problem. It's just like, it's just ridiculously stupid. I mean, people get offended by everything. I'm offended by most politicians every time you see them in the news. So, big deal. I mean, just live with it. I mean, you get offended every day, really. You just have to get on with it. But politicising offence in any time, the past, now, it's just a system of control, and it's ridiculous, and it never works. It always ends up looking stupid, and the people who did it just look stupid because people end up seeing through it. But you ruin a lot of lives on the way to that. So and that's what these videos show. The Nasty DVD show. It's like, it's a disaster. People are ruined. I liked how the boxes, because it's 3 discs, they did make them big, a VHS box like, and I'd recommend them. They're hard to get hold of, but I would, if you get hold of them at a decent price, I would say try and get hold of them, because they are good documentaries and very informative. Especially the second one. The second one, the first one's shorter. I don't think it is much detail. The second one really goes into a lot more detail and delivers a lot more meat about the problems of video nasties plus the collectors and the problems they had. I like the second one better actually. But the first one has the meat of the video nasties list of the and this 2 and 3. It tells you exactly what was banned, what wasn't banned. So there's, I mean, they're both great, but I think the second one's easier to get hold of just now because it's newer. But it's definitely worth seeing. It's a definitely important subject, especially now where there's a lot of censorship around. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll be back soon with some other videos.